Okay, so we are going to come back after the Game Awards and talk about our highlights, any surprises that we had, that sort of thing. Well, really just more the surprises. So we'll be back. And we're back, and that was a Game Awards for sure. So, I guess we can just individually go through our different things. So why don't you start off with what was the first thing that stood out to you?
All right, so I was right, and I was wrong. We did get Half-Life 3, 582 over days. So, I mean, I think Valve is starting to learn how to count like Square is. And I mean, they already did Half-Life Episode 1, but also Half-Life Episode 2, and Half-Life Episode 2, and stuff like that. And now they're like, okay, what else can we cram in? And I mean, what's next? Half-Life Birth by Sleep? Chain of Memories? I don't know. Valve, get your act together, Valve.
Yeah, that was really shocking. But what was even more shocking about it was that it was confirmed that Valve was purchased by Sony in that, and that Half-Life 358 over 2 days is going to be PlayStation 5 Pro exclusive. It won't even run on the original PS5. It's going to be so advanced with the PSSR that it is going to require the infinite power of the PSS5 PSS5 the PS5 Pro. And, you know, between the magical SSD and PSSR, that is what is required to run Half-Life 3. So, or Half-Life 358 over 2 days. That's so hard to get used to. I never would have thought that Valve would pull that Nomura nonsense, but I mean, it looks good. At least with what few images they've shown. But I kind of figured after, you know, we saw Half-Life Alyx looking so good, I mean, because it really does look great, that it wasn't terribly surprising that they would have Half-Life 358 over 2 days. Of course, this one takes place in between Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and Half-Life 2 Episode 2, so it's kind of another filler. Well, it is another filler rather than getting the actual Half-Life 3, but, you know, 358 over 2 days, and you play as a member of the Combine in this, so you know, that intro that we've been using since the beginning of having the Combine masks over our faces, now we're actually going to get to be a Combine with the indistinguishable language of what they say when they talk. So.
Oh, and also one last thing. Don't forget the because Sony bought Valve and you know, made this exclusive to the PS5. There is a special mode, the cinematic mode, where you play the game, the first-person shooter, at 24 FPS. So
yeah, because that's the
cinematic.
Better way to play.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely, for sure. All right. Well, what was also a surprise, Nintendo actually did show up at the Game Awards, and they announced the Switch 2, which is coming out actually next week. It's going to be $850 and will be sold exclusively through Nintendo's online store. It will not have an OLED version, but it also won't have an LCD version. It will have two options, either a plasma screen option or a CRT option. And it's an extra fat boy too. It weighs about 50 pounds. At least that's the rumor. That's not the actual amount. It's probably more like about 10 pounds because you're basically carrying around a CRT. It's a smaller CRT, of course, because, you know, it has to be quote unquote portable. But yeah, it's going to be $850. So it looks like Nintendo took Sony's ideas with the PS5 Pro and took it to the next level. I guess on the plus side, it does have a 2 terabyte hard drive built in, or 2 terabyte SSD rather. So yeah, it's a big beefy boy. And yeah, next week. That's considering the fact that every time Nintendo sells something exclusively through their website crashes. This is definitely going to crash. Wow. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nintendo was sick and tired of people asking for the Switch 2, that they said, fine, you want the Switch 2? We're dropping it next week. So, I mean, we got what we wanted. Definitely wish we kind of had more, of a heads up about this. That would be nice. But, I mean, yeesh, people are definitely going to be really fighting for that before Christmas.
Right, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, before Christmas, because, I mean, it's coming out next week, and next week is the week before Christmas, so that's going to be interesting, to say the least.
Yep. I feel sorry for people, though, who just bought a regular Switch for their kids and stuff, and then now they're like, Mom, Dad, I want the new Switch, and they just bought it.
Yeah. Crazy stuff.
Yep.
All right, what's your next thing?
The next thing was, I definitely agree, this is definitely one of those, oh wow, I can't believe that this is here. And, kind of was right about this as well. Bloodborne Remastered. However, the only caveat is that it is a PlayStation Portal exclusive. Sony really wanted to push the fact that the Portal is, a must-have device. They said, you know what? We're gonna make this a must-have device. We're gonna give you Bloodborne Remastered. That's something you wanted. Now you can only play it through streaming. So, you get to have all the benefits of streaming and potential latency issues in a game where you don't want to have latency issues. You can have that right on your portable device that's streaming. So I hope you have good reception if you're outside your house. Then if you're playing on some hot spots, then I hope that this works for you. I'll definitely have to pick up a Portal eventually so I can try this game, but yeah, that definitely was a surprise. Definitely was not what I expected, but we got Bloodborne, so I guess we should be happy.
But I mean, really, it's not on PC though, so it's like
that's true.
I mean, it, like I said, streaming only. They're targeting 60 frames per second with ray tracing. Targeting 60 frames per second with ray tracing, and of course, it's streaming only, so you have to stream it with a PlayStation Portal, and yeah, no PC version, at least not yet. I mean, we'll probably get one eventually, but maybe when we get to 2035, that's when they'll finally release the PC version, and yeah, and then do that along with the PlayStation 6 or 7, wherever we are by that. I guess it would probably be PlayStation 7 by that point, but and then they'll finally get 60 frames per second locked, and it will upscale from 1080p to 8K. So,
just gotta wait, a good just over 10 years. So,
and by that point, they'll have PSS SSR.
Yes.
Or PS SSR. So yes, PlayStation Super Spectral Resolution. So they'll have an extra S in there. It'll be the upgraded version of PSSR. Or no, I guess I'm wrong. It will. I mean, because currently it's PlayStation. It's just the P is PlayStation Super Spectral Resolution or whatever, and the upgraded version that will be with the PS7 or whatever will be PlayStation Super Spectral Resolution. Or a Super Special Spectral Resolution, whatever. Anyway, point is, Bloodborne, exclusive to PlayStation Portal. That is crazy. I'm not buying a PlayStation Portal for that. At that point, I would rather play it on PS4 base than stream it. Because after all,
Yeah,
30 frames per second is the better way to play it, according to that one chick, who I'm sure you've seen
oh yeah,
all the
yeah.
comments, responses to that garbage. Okay. For the last thing that really stood out to me, so Mario's 40th anniversary is next year, and I'm really surprised Nintendo showed up as much as they did, but they showed off their first 40th anniversary game that's going to be coming out, and that is Mario Paint Deluxe. It is going to require a separate purchase of a custom Mario-themed mouse to play, and it's going to be the game itself will retail still at $60. Fair enough, even if it is for just Mario Paint, but the mouse will retail at $99.99. So that's a thing, I guess. And I don't really have much of any other thoughts on the matter. I never played the original Mario Paint. I do remember there being a one of the Strong Bad cartoons where they drew it all in Mario Paint, and it was fantastic. But otherwise, yeah.
I'm trying to remember if I actually owned Mario Paint. I know I didn't have the mouse, but I feel like I did buy the cartridge, at least from some retro game store. It's very interesting that they would bring it back though after all these years, but I mean, I guess similar to a couple other franchises in recent memory, Nintendo has been trying to sort of revive old IPs. So I mean, this is one they definitely could revive the Paint. I guess make it a new series, the Paint series. Maybe there might be crossovers in the future. Who knows? We might have like Donkey Kong Paint, Legend of Zelda Paint, F-Zero Paint, Metroid Paint. I don't think Nintendo should just stop here. And I mean, maybe next year we could even get some special controllers based upon franchises or special character ones. So I'm looking forward to maybe seeing what happens here. I'm a bit miffed by the price though. $100 for a mouse, I don't know, it feels a bit
And it's
steep.
wired too.
And it's wired, yeah. I mean, consider the fact that you could buy a wired mouse at any store for PC for less than $20. This is kind of but hey, it's got the branding.
Oh, well, but it does have what you call it, HD Rumble in it as well.
Oh yeah, that is true. Nintendo still believes in HD Rumble. That I forget about that.
Yeah, it'll feel like you're actually drawing with the mouse. So, got to make use of that HD Rumble. All right, that's all I have in terms of the stuff that stood out. Did you have anything else?
Just one last thing I had, and I in light of what happened with Valve and Sony, I am really surprised to see this. And the fact that Sony even allowed this is the sort of a partnership between all three companies, between sort of Valve, Sony, since they own it now, it's Valve now, and Microsoft, is the Steam Machine 2 actually is existing. And not only is it existing, but they made a point to say that the Steam Machine 2 is also an Xbox. So once again, we have another Xbox device that you can play. So, despite the fact that it uses Linux, it's still an Xbox. You can still play your Xbox games on there. So I stand corrected about the fact that, my opinion doesn't matter since the Steam Machine would use Linux and it's apart from Microsoft and Xbox. Nope, this is an Xbox as well. So, hey, Xbox app coming right there to it as well. New way to play games. So I'm going to try it out. I'm going to actually download the Xbox app on my PC, since that also is now technically an Xbox as well. So, hey, I'm an Xbox.
Yeah, we learned that last week. Or a couple weeks ago, whenever that was. So, yeah. All right. Yeah. That was pretty much it. I mean, there was like a handful of not surprising announcements. I mean, winners of the different awards were just pretty much obvious. Although, actually, I will say I was pretty surprised that Concord won Game of the Year. I mean, considering the fact that it didn't actually get nominated for anything, although I'd accidentally previously said that it got nominated, I meant Dragon Age Veilguard was what got nominated, because that got a nomination, but Concord didn't even get a nomination, but I guess there was enough write-ins that they made Concord Game of the Year, so that was shocking to everyone. I heard an audible gasp in the audience.
Maybe that's what Jason Schreier really meant. There will be a gasp.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That was here?
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that game.
Yeah, for sure.